Well, hi there. Welcome to today's show. Today we are talking about how to master the flow of time, money and attention. And I explain what that's all about. I created a quiz called the Which Creative Entrepreneur Are You quiz, and it's free. You can click the link in the comments to take that. And the reason I did this is because so many creative service providers and other kinds of creative entrepreneurs, they get overwhelmed or confused about what to do. And you know what it's like? You can have these ever-increasing to-do lists. Have you ever experienced that? Hit the heart button if that is the case. Oh, my heart's upside down. Hit the heart button if that is the case. And the thing is that this quiz helps you to identify what are the best steps for you to be taking and what are the best mindset shifts for you to make in order to be able to take those steps effectively, right? So if you haven't taken the quiz yet, click the link and do that. What the kind of core results, there's 4 different types. The first is dreamer, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today, is the first step for the dreamer to take. And so the dreamer is somebody who they haven't quite got traction in the business yet. They might be doing it part-time while they're in a full-time job, or maybe they've gone full-time with it, but they haven't yet got a full-time income. Okay, so at this point, it's kind of, it can feel like you need to, try and do everything in order to get something to work. That isn't necessarily the right thing to be doing right now. And the thing is that if you don't master your flow of time, money and attention, then the chances are you're going to struggle to move forward because things are just going to be too chaotic. Now look, I get it. I'm a creative person as well. And I know that chaos can be quite attractive to us creatives, but it doesn't tend to be conducive. And I know sometimes people feel like, oh yeah, I'm a creative and that's the way things are. But you can, if you save your creativity for where it really matters, then your results are going to be so much better. And please let me tell you, your life is going to be so much less stressful. And I've experienced these shifts and taking these steps myself, so I can share these experiences. For those of you who don't know me, by the way, my name is Doyle. I'm the founder of creativeflow.tv, and I'm a business coach and strategist for creatives, and I typically work with creative service providers like animators, graphic and web designers, photographers, video producers, etc. And what I do is I help them to confidently and profitably be able to stand out from the crowd and be able to do that whilst they're creating work that fills the heart with pride, all without selling their soul. Okay, I think this is really important, and I'm on a mission to help people to kind of banish the starving artist myth and realize that the business definitely doesn't have to be like that. Okay, so I just want to look at attention. Okay, so you understand about time and you understand about money, but I think sometimes for us creatives, attention isn't something that we really think about. Another way of looking at it is focus. But I just thought, what does the dictionary say about this? And what it says is the one definition of it is that it's notice taken of someone or something, or the regarding of someone or something as interesting or important. Another one is the action of dealing with or taking special care of someone or something. And I just want to ask you, thinking about that, does that make you think, wow, yeah, I want to pay attention to my business? Yeah. Now, if you don't, you're probably in the wrong game. So and the thing is that you can't pay attention to everything. And I know we tend to think very big, we tend to have very big visions, and it can be challenging sometimes to kind of get down into more detail. But actually this is essential at times to be able, sometimes you have to slow down in order to then be able to speed up again. So as some people who I've helped to master these things, here's some of the things that have happened for them. There's a music producer I worked with who said because we worked on these things, they were able to be more creative. That when they went into the studio and were focusing on producing the music, then they didn't have all these niggles coming into their head, right? Does that sound good? Imagine being able to create and be able to fully immerse yourself into that creativity. Would you like that? I know when I do my creative stuff that I love to be able to do that. So give me some hearts if that's something you enjoy too. Another example is a client who just recently actually, his wife, who's a partner in the business, said that he's way less stressed. He's also less grumpy, which I thought was quite funny. And he plays with the kids more. And I just thought, wow, I mean, how important is that? Imagine the difference for those children in years to come. Imagine the difference in their relationship in years to come. And this is a really nice person, by the way. It's not like they're an ogre or anything, but just the fact that they are giving their children that attention because they have more focus in their business. It's interesting, isn't it? And then there's another client who they had a really challenging week, and we had worked with them in terms of how to structure their time, and they had a sudden kind of bit of a crisis crop up where they had to do a lot of really detailed administrative type work, and it had an urgent deadline. And they still managed to get a full day and a half of being immersed in creativity because of the strategies that they were working with. So it is possible for you to master your flow of time, money and attention without losing your creativity. In fact, the opposite is going to be true for you. So if you're in a situation where your business isn't paying you enough, okay, then the chances are you probably are in this dreamer category. Now, to be sure, go and take the quiz. And we've talked about kind of the chaos. And I think sometimes people think that, well, I'll just wait and things will get better on their own. But they very rarely do. And if they do, it usually takes way too long. And what has happened to your life and to your finances and your stress levels in the meantime, it just isn't worth it. Whereas instead, what I want you to think about is that if you're to get more structured, then that actually would set you free. Imagine if you believed that. What difference would that make to how you approach things? And I think, that getting more structured will also help you increase your earnings as well as help you to increase your creativity. You see, the thing is that without that structure, the danger is that you're probably a bit all over the place. You're probably, spreading yourself way too thin, trying to do too many things at once, and lacking focus. And that, it ends up becoming really demotivating and can actually really hit your confidence levels as well. So I want you to be thinking about, okay, so I've got to master my flow of time, money, and attention. Well, what does that really mean? Okay. So first of all, attention. So you need to be focusing in. Let me just check my notes here of what I was saying. First of all, you've got to plan what you want to achieve and how is best for you to get there. Now, it's different for everybody, so be careful of modelling other people's. Make sure you're using the strategies that suit you and your personality and your natural strengths. And list out what are the things you need to do and group them into projects and into processes and get clear on that. But at this point, do not plan too far ahead. At this stage, your primary concern is to make money and to get sales in. And we're going to talk more about that on Thursday. I'm doing an interview at this time tomorrow night. So do join us for that, by the way. But yeah, on Thursday, we'll be talking about that. And so I would say plan only 1 to 3 months ahead because things are going to change so much for you at this point. What you don't want to do is to get into planning exercises that take up all your time and then it's too complex and you're like, oh God, I can't be bothered to implement this. So just have a plan that's very focused and very tight. Okay, you don't want it to be trying to achieve way too much. And the second thing is to start structuring your time. Have times in your week, and it doesn't have to be the same day and the same time, okay? You can have a flexibility within it, and obviously if you're working quite intuitively, which a lot of creative people do, then you'll know there are some days and you'll go, actually today's the best day for me to do these. I'll do that tomorrow, but I'll do this other stuff instead. So you might swap things around a bit, but if you have a structure, then you can play with it. Whereas it's like, I'm an actor as well as being a business coach. And when I go and do an audition, if I haven't made any choices, it's really hard for the director to redirect me. But if I've made choices, then it's really easy for them to go, oh, well, try it this way or try that. So do you know what I mean? So you can flex things around, but there needs to be some structure there in the first place. And look to do similar type tasks together. It doesn't actually always work to work on one project on one day, because there might be lots of different kinds of activities there. So go and check out some of my other videos on this, and you'll get to understand what I'm talking about there. So do that. Your productivity will massively increase. And the other thing is to, when you're looking to increase your sales at this point, just test one thing at a time. Don't be trying to do too many. And then money, you have got to know where you are. Look, I have been in a situation where I was in complete denial, head in the sand about my finances several years ago, and I got into a real mess, and I don't want that to happen for you. So make sure that you get clear on where you are. Think about where you want to go and make sure you keep track. And let me tell you, avoiding your money issues does not change your circumstances. In fact, your circumstances are likely to get worse and you don't want that happening. So set up a simple system to keep track. Get people to help you with this. If you're in the position to have a bookkeeper, or maybe you've got a friend you can do a swap with, maybe a family member or your partner, whoever it is, get somebody who is detail oriented to help you with this. And it's great if you can have some accountability as well. Okay, so listen, thank you so much for watching this. And if you enjoy this free content, I want you to know that I go into so much more depth in this with my clients and also with my new free community Facebook group. And it's so new, it hasn't even got a cover page right now. But what I want you to do is, if you haven't already, click the link and take the quiz. And then I will email you the details for the group, and you can join that too. And then you'll be able to see all these videos that I'm doing quite easily, and ask questions and interact and collaborate with other people as well. All right, I'm going to wrap that up now. So I trust has been valuable for you. Do pop any questions that you have in the comments, and I will come back and answer them for you. All right, thank you. Bye.